Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. Make sure you're subscribed and do check in daily. All three channels, Evolutionary, EEARTS, and Heart's Home as well. So it's official. Top NBC Uni ad exec and World Economic Forum Task Force chair is the Twitter new CEO. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how many out there. You know, there are some, not our family members, obviously, but there are some out there that are relatively naive about Elon Musk, think, oh, he's doing all the right things. He's going to save us. Yeah, so he picks Linda Yaccarino. If you haven't ever felt her energy, just feel her energy, and it'll tell you everything you need to know. So this is who Elon has picked again. Another WEFer. Another WEFer. Here she is. Chairman of Global Advertising Partnerships at NBCU. Been with NBCU more than a decade. Industry advocate for finding better ways to measure the effectiveness of advertising. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, when I look at this matrix that we're in and, you know, all the posing, etc., it makes me nauseous. It truly, truly does. I find that I have less and less tolerance for the matrix itself and absolutely no desire to be in it, really. You know, we're just on this planet at this particular time trying to, you know, I would say preach, but, you know, again, that could give you negative connotations. As well, trying to put out their perspectives of balance and harmony with nature can be achieved. Absolutely. All we know is just this matrix we've grown up in. And, you know, yeah, at the same time, there is an awakening of mind and consciousness that is leading to a lot of people to being very, very disillusioned about the globe and about the entirety of the world. And some people are so disillusioned that they just want to get the heck out of here.
I know. And so many people are waking up rather quickly, understanding that the system that they're in is not, not to the best interest of them or their family. And a lot of times they find out, boy, there's a lot of backpedaling that needs to be done, because once you're in the system, they have like these safety mechanisms to lock you in the system, and it is really difficult to pull yourself out. And then there's the psychological aspect of it too, where so many people simply do not want to look at the truth, cannot look at the truth, and that's no fault of their own. It's just where they're at as human. They can't look at it right now. But if you're one who is getting an understanding and you do know what's going on, best thing to do is to take care of yourself, get yourself in good shape, get a good plan, start baby stepping out of this matrix that they have created. And then hopefully those who want to will follow, because they can see that it's not such a scary thing after all. If you did it, they can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you see here, she's the executive chair from January 2019 to present of the WEF's perspective on shaping the global workforce, the future of work, the future of slavery. You mean? Mm-hmm. This is really what is, and many people so many are catching on to this. The chairman of the WEF's task force on future work and sits on the WEF's media, entertainment, and culture industry. Governor's steering community. Oh, it's all about steering us. There's a big cliff ahead. You might want to, we need to change this ship here. Oh, straight off the cliffs. Look at this, too. And these are some tweets about what. Yeah, she worked with the Pope, as well as many others, governmental agencies, and helped to deliver over 200 million ouchies. Yeah, yes. We understand exactly What's going on here? All I got is just depictions of fire and pitchforks. I don't understand why.
Where's that coming from?
I don't know. I don't know. And you got Ted Cruz talking about the border crisis. Let's give Ted a few minutes here.
An absolute travesty unfolding on our southern border. On Monday, we apprehended over 10,000 people on the border, the highest level in history. On Tuesday, we apprehended over 10,000 people on the border, again, the highest level in history. There are right now, where we're standing, more than 22,000 people camped just south of the border, getting ready to come across. Just in this location, in less than a month, we've had over 35,000 Venezuelans cross illegally just right here, not counting the whole rest of the border. Every day, just right here, they're encountering 90 to 100 Chinese nationals. Now, for anyone that doesn't have their globe nearby, China is not immediately to the south of the United States.
that was a cute one. Now, again, when I listen to Ted speak, I recognize, I again feel I'm kind of watching Hollywood. It's pretty obvious, now he's doing it with a straight face and all, but this is what we have to realize, is that even the ones that are pointing out an obvious truth, and he goes on and says, this is nothing less than an invasion, because it's totally an invasion, and it's of a mind-boggling, overwhelming number of people that it literally even boggles my mind. And I've known this is going on. We've been talking about this. I've been talking about this since 2017. Yet the sheer numbers, to me, it feels like, wow, they are on overkill. I mean, I said to Cindy jokingly, they're not going to have to even send any destroyers, no aircraft carriers, no naval ships. There's going to be so many people inside the country already that they won't even need to do a direct invasion, because there's already so much inside the country of a military variety that it's just going to be overkill. Talk about Trojan horse. This is just so mammoth. It's just mind-boggling that how asleep is humanity? How asleep is it's just like it takes your speech away. Just how mind-numbed the greater majority of the civilization is. Either that, or they just are cognitively dissonant. I don't know.
I think cognitive dissonant is a really, really good term. But, oddly enough, I can't see the big evasion. I can't see the tanks. I can't see the military equipment. And it could be because of that, because it's already here.
Yeah. It's again, I do remember having that vision of saying to you, and this was going back to 2019, that I can't believe that in the morning, there's going to be foreign troops in control of cities and stuff in the U.S. And, this is a long time ago now. But that was in a vision that I had, and that was after having two, one of which, the first one was seeing Cascadia go, and the second one was, I want to say about a week later, saw the San Andreas go. And it was just like watching the news, with people talking about the chaos. Meanwhile, crowds of people, as you see, I mean, they're just gathering in droves. And it's very telling what countries: Venezuela, Nicaragua, Cuba, and then, of course, Chinese nationals. They're all militarily aligned. Now, not everybody walking around is a soldier, obviously. Probably not even 10%. It might be 1%, literally, but in some, I gotta tell you, in some of the camera shots, it sure feels like it's bigger than 1%. It feels like it really could be, 10 to 20% or better Obviously not the little ones, but, again, they've been promised things, and this has come out in other places, other videos. Meanwhile, this is what Israel's doing over in Gaza. And again, Israel, it didn't exist for 1900 years, or at least, given the historical timelines that they tell us, again, which we really can't trust anything that they tell us in reality. And you see, again, look at the kids, that massive bomb going off, in an urban area. And, it's so sad that people have to grow up this way. But this is the system itself. The system just feeds off of chaos. 5.5 quake and a series of aftershocks, Lake Almanor, Northern California. This really caught my eye, as well as we got a little one right over by Charlotte there, 2.1. But zeroing in over here, there's quite a little swarm going on. You got 49 quakes right there, right on this lake. And again, the biggest one was a 5.5. Again, at some point in time, there is going to be massive chaos on the Pacific coast. And I do also see the Pacific coast, being completely under the control of the fine dining ware country. And that's probably not in too far distant future. Again, I would think, again, the guides had shown us something they hardly ever do, as we see one way out there in the middle of Northwest Territories with 3.7. They showed volcanoes going off, which, again, we interpret to be Pacific Northwest, at a time when we see military confrontation on what we interpreted to be U.S. soil. And that was back around December of last year. And they gave us a timeline of 1.5 years. So we're viewing that as being around June of next year, that we would actually see volcanic activity going off. Perhaps Shasta, it seemed to look the most like Shasta, but, again, you have Mount St. Helens, you have Rainier, and you have also volcanoes up through Canada, up into Alaska, as well, which could go active. So we're always watching for this. This was interesting. This little blurb: abandoning land transforms biodiversity. Land abandonment is critical when assessing global biodiversity and conservation. Land abandonment and rural depopulation are accelerating globally. In less than 50 years, the proportion of the human population living in rural areas has already decreased by about 25%. Even though the population's increased, those out in the countryside have decreased. Well, again, we had Mark Root talking about, and that's the PM of the Netherlands, you're going to get your food from 4 big corporations. That's it. No more mom and pop. They don't want mom and pop food, because, again, and this is the thing to understand. If you say I can't afford to buy organic, and or even why try to buy organic when nothing's organic in the first place, the amount of nutrition that we get out of the food today is less than what we got out of it 100 years ago. The type of techniques they use in farming, especially these big corporations, it might result in better looking, huge carrots and whatever it is. They might be gigantic next to the organic, but they pack a very little punch nutritionally. And nutritional deficiency leads to all sorts of immune deficiency. And this is part of why we have a ever decreasing life expectancy. And in the Kali Yuga, life expectancy is very, very low. As we get out of the Kali Yuga, life expectancy will increase. It's because of the system. They don't want you having a long, healthy life. That's the bottom line. They'll tell you otherwise, but they really, really don't, because they don't want to give you time to figure things out. That's part of it. They also need to keep you docile, not thinking too clearly, and under this big cloud of energy that confuses and distorts.
And, you know, there's some say when it comes to the Sumerian Kings list about, they talk about how certain kings ruled for thousands of years and then certain kings ruled for hundreds of years. And some say, well, they were just going by a different calendar, and 100 years meant, you know, just one day. So, of course, they can do that with the math. But if you look to Hindu mythology, the Kali Yugas are very, very real, and they actually teach about the lifespan of human beings, or beings for that matter. So there's no reason why our lives should be cut this short unless it's in a deliberate nature. And I think that's where people have the problem, where they realize, gosh, you know, how could one human do this to another human? And it just keeps circling back. The only thing that makes sense is it's not humans doing it to humans.
Yeah, absolutely. Between Cindy and I think we probably covered a huge portion of the country, probably like 75%, you know, or better of the country. And you do see abandoned farms and abandoned properties everywhere you look. I mean, just going right back into being composted, for lack of a better word, where they were vibrant and productive. And it doesn't take so much to become productive out there. It takes less than most people really realize. But at the same time, we've become couch potatoes. We've become deconditioned. There's more obesity out there. And even with all the obesity, you still have more nutritionally deficient people than like 100 years ago, when we were working harder to get our food. This is the part of the big reveal. Again, you know, our good friend Rosemary, she's a naturopath from Australia. Again, we were talking about how, you got to have the perfect lawn, but then you put all these toxins on it to cultivate something that you can't eat, but it looks nice. And meanwhile, you're killing all the things that not only could you eat them, but they also could help you in times of ill health. It's just idiocy, extreme idiocy that we've bought into as a society.
You know, the saddest thing to me is these beautiful dandelions that used to pop up all over the place. And do you realize how much medicinal value those have? Oh my gosh. And then they're also really good for your soil. So it's not just for your body, it's for your soil. And they've taken great lengths and used an enormous amount of money to make sure that those are killed out during the planting process of regular grass. And you know, the leaf of a dandelion can help rebuild tooth enamel. I mean, isn't that just amazing, wonderful news? And they're taking it away from us, you know, under the guise of, oh, this is popular. Oh, this looks good, you know, under the guise of ego. And it's just sad, but there's enough of us waking up. I think we can get this ship turned around.
Absolutely. And so this is talking about how all this is well underway. The fact that there's going to be less people out in the countrysides. A lot of the countrysides, you know, that used to be small farms are just going to be overrun. This is all part of the bigger plan. And we know what they have in plan. As you see all these different studies, rural depopulation. In a rapidly urbanizing America, it's not just the U.S., it's all over. It's all over. They're herding people together. Herding. Most of America's rural areas are doomed to decline. And are rapidly declining. And so our skills, the skill set for, you know, understanding, you know, what to plant where, how, you know, how you can, again, survive even in the most challenging of times. You know, you could look to places like New Mexico and Arizona, the deserts, and somehow people knew how to cultivate even in that climate. And then we look to some of the Mississippian culture, which has basically lived here in you know, the United States for a very long time. And thrived. You know, when we look at like how many people they say are here now, 8 billion they say. And some think that we've already lost a huge part of that 8 billion. And then how many people were here, say, in 1800? You know, the estimates I was looking at was just a little bit over 1 billion. So most of the population increase, they'll say, is due to the fact that, oh, well, we just do things so much more, efficiently now. And yeah, no, I mean, they give you this graph that's like, a slow, steady growth, very, very slow. And then the industrialization leads to this huge boom. What I think it really looks like is more like waves in a rough ocean, as you have depopulation events that occur on a regular basis. They don't want you being able to live with nature and cultivate your own food. No, that's the last thing they want. They want you in here. That looks like a prison. It basically is. It's a 15-minute city in China. Again, these things have already been put in place. China is the model for what's coming. But as we've shared, when we've channeled the kids that are off in the future, 2055, they're living very, very long. Now, they say that the people in the cities don't live that long. And they don't really leave the cities. You don't see in 2055, and it'll be even sooner than that, you won't see airplanes in the sky. There's going to be no mass migrations like when we look at ADS-BEC exchange and we see all these airplanes all over the earth going all over the place, people going on vacation. No, you don't need to go on vacation. Everything you need is in your 15-minute city. It's all right there. No need for you to go anywhere else. Because there's no more illusion of freedom. The illusion of freedom is going away. It's zero privacy. They know exactly who you are at all times. You step out of line, you'll find yourself going hungry or worse. This is all about creating a class of worker slaves where, again, there's no need to give you the illusion of freedom. That's gone. That's absolutely gone. So concrete, jungles for everybody. Well, there's going to be a lot of people that resist, a lot of people that go back to nature, do things organically. There will be people that find themselves living in abandoned buildings and abandoned, suburban areas even. I mean, we've remote viewed just the relatively near future and relatively near future, just a couple years down the line. And you're going to find a lot of suburbia places that are relatively empty. And they're destined to go back and look like this. I mean, these beautiful, things that we would call McMansions that will eventually be overgrown and Mother Nature will reclaim. And it's, again, an opportunity to live in harmony once again with the natural world. And when we do that, we're going to find that we are actually healthier, clearer-minded, stronger, and happier.
A lot clearer-minded. It's just so sad the amount of guck that is in everything that we eat. If you're not on a regular basis doing some type of detox, I mean, that stuff is just building up in your body and creating a kind of a sludge. And the sad part about it is people, they probably feel that they don't have time. But if you're on this journey and you're just getting started, one of the easiest things that you could do to start to detox is just a little bit of lemon water in the morning before you eat anything else. And that's going to get at least the process started. And do that. And you don't want to go too soon, too fast, because it can make you sick, because all of those toxins, when they're all trying to scurry out of the body, boy, you can get headaches, you can get all kinds of stuff, you can get rashes. So you definitely want to start slow and steady.
And here you have a 31-year-old dog. Happy birthday. Urf.
Oh, that's adorable. I bet you his parents fed him really good, healthy food, and he probably has his own detox diet too.
Yeah, Bobby. He's a purebred Jafeiro do Alentejo. So I'm not really familiar with that breed, but to me it looked like he's,
Nice lab.
Yeah, kind of a little bit on the chunky side. Yes. It's okay. Hey, 31, it's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. You're allowed. He's named the oldest living dog by the Guinness Book of World Records. Also, the oldest canine ever recorded. He's 31. His owner is 38. Think about that. Getting him at 7 years old, and he's still around when, You might have 7-year-olds yourself.
Yes. And then we look at this guy. He figures he's been hired for some good old destruction work, and he probably figures the humans, they're missing out on all the good stuff if they're not letting the rainwater flood through.
He said, Mom told me to do it. Yeah, Mom says we got to reclaim this here.
Yeah, he's a sweetie. Oh boy, I bet you somebody doesn't think that though.
No. As always, guys, thanks for your support over on Patreon and also on Ko-Fi. We couldn't do it without you guys. If you wanted to reach out for a Vedic astrology chart, energy work, spiritual coaching, it's evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com. And then our website is evolutionaryenergyarts.com. As always, much love and gratitude for you guys being part of this family. We look forward to your comments. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.